How's it going, everyone? Pop-Tart here. Welcome back. Well, it's been a hot few seconds since I've uploaded here, and this is something that I've wanted to do for a very long time. So, this is, I guess you could say, a fresh start. If you're one of the 285 poor souls subscribed from my previous content, I can only extend my deepest apologies because, wow, that was not a high point. So I hope to be able to wash those sins away and make some videos on flight simulation, which is a hobby of mine that I very much enjoy. So I'm here in X-Plane 11. I'm also looking forward to giving Microsoft Flight Sim a few whirls. The working title CJ4 is very fun to fly there, and at the time of recording, the Aerosoft CRJ is 2 weeks away, so very excited for that. But with all that aside, for today, we're going to be flying Delta 1767 from Salt Lake City to Jackson Hole, Wyoming, in the ToLiss A319 here in X-Plane 11. I also have the beautiful BSS Soundpack for the CFM56 engines here. As for scenery, default gateway scenery both ends, and I must extend my apologies in advance because the gateway scenery for Salt Lake City is one of the worst, but not much can be done about that. We do have more to look forward to in flight though, with Vertical Sim's VStates Ortho coverage the whole way, so yeah, with all that, I think that's about all I have to ramble on about beforehand here, so let's jump into the flight deck and get started. Alright, here we are in the cockpit of the Airbus A319. So, first things first, battery 1 and 2 on. And we'll connect external power. Switch on the nav lights here. I'll just quickly go through and crank up the brightness on the displays. Center ECAM as well here. Upper and lower. And the right side. Apologies, the mouse sensitivity on these scroll wheels isn't the strongest, but only takes a second here. And we'll get the McDoos cranked up. Alright, there we go. Let's get the IDIRs 1, 2, and 3 to nav. Switch on the radio panel. Get the ground control on for the flight recorder, and crew supply oxygen on. Arm the emergency exit lights, and switch on the no smoking and seatbelt signs. Alright, perfect. Let's get the radio panels turned on down here as well. And it's time to program the McDoos. So, pull up the init page here. We're flying from Salt Lake City to Jackson Hole. There we go. And align the IRS. Our alternate is just going to be back to Salt Lake City here. Flight number is Delta 1767. We have a cost index of 36. And we'll be cruising at 310, 31,000 feet. Pull up the Unit B page here, and let's get the aircraft loaded up. Switch over to Imperial units here, since that's not in the config for this livery. Alright, so we're looking for a zero fuel weight of 121.5 tons. So, COVID time, so I'll prioritize the cargo holds. Just crank that up there. 121.5. Right around there. I'll apply that. And our block fuel is going to be 11.4 tons. 11.4, there we go. Load that up. So, 121.1.5 and 29.8 on the CG. If I could hit those clit spots, there we go. And 11.4. Perfect. Alright, now comes the fun times where I struggle with the flight plan with an outdated ARAC cycle because I don't have an AvidGrab subscription, but hopefully this will go as seamlessly as possible. So, out of Salt Lake City here, we'll be taking runway 16 left. Out here, and SimBrief has given us the Rugged 1 departure. Let's see if we have that in here. Which we do not. So, I'm just going to go no-sid here and do my best to try to vector myself off on departure without hitting the mountains outside, but yeah. So from there we've got direct Holter in there. From Holter direct to Ibaka. Then from there direct to Lady. Then direct to Delta November Whiskey. Insert that. Then for the arrival into Jacksonville, we've got runway 19. From these two, judging from the charts, the Zulu, I believe, looks like more of an easterly arrival. Don't quote me on that, but ILS-19 Yankee seemed to be the most suitable arrival for us here, or approach, I should say. And we have no stars in there, and via Delta November Whiskey. No transition, and we'll insert that. Alright, reset that there, switch this over to plan. Zoom in a little bit on that, and let's scroll through here to make sure everything's looking good. We'll disregard that turn since we'll be turning ourselves out. In fact, I believe that direct 2 from the left around will be cutting a bit too close to the mountains for us, so I'll just be taking a right turn out myself here. But apart from that, we've got Halter there, Ibaka, Lady, Delta November Whiskey, and in there. Perfect. That's a little bit of a strange turn-in on the arrival, but it looks fine enough as it is. I don't really care too much for that, but yeah. Get rid of that there. Scroll that down to 10-mile radius, and get the constraints up here. And back to arc mode as well. You know what? I lied. ILS Zulu actually looks like it's a more suitable arrival for the Delta November Whiskey transition, so I'm going to just have a look through this here. Yeah, I'll switch over to 19 Zulu, no stars, and I don't believe Tokad is the where we want to be going. Yeah, that's an extension off of Delta November Whiskey, so no via from there. It'll just be straight in from Delta November Whiskey. So I'll insert that and see what that does for us here. Yes, we should be going from... Well, no, this is confusing now. The charts have a lot more here in between Delta November Whiskey and Womru there. We've got Zebiv and Zosov points along the approach there. I'm just going to clear out that discontinuity and just go straight in and see what happens with that, but you know what, that'll be just fine for me. I'm going to insert that and leave it be. Looks like a much better arrival than the Yankee earlier. My apologies for that. Bit of a mess, but yeah. So, close that out there and switch that back to arc mode. Alright, that's about it for that stage there, so I'll pull up the perf page. Before we do that though, let's get the APU running. So, APU master on, get the fuel pumps on as well. And while we're waiting for the flap to open, I'm just going to get the altimeter set. So, here in Salt Lake City, the altimeter is 3013. Just get that dialed in there, and on the right as well. 3013. And that'll be 1020 on the standby. Yes, that looks correct. Alright, and since we don't really have a departure that we're flying, I'm just going to set 5000 just to be safe there for the initial climb altitude. Just pretend that I've given clearance a call. And on that note, I'll just set the transponder to 2021 for good luck, and set the transponder to standby. Alright, there's flap open. Let's give the start button a push, and let that go. Popped up back down to the Matu here, and let's get the performance figures in. So, we'll be using flaps 1 here for takeoff. V1, 139, 139, and 142. Don't know why Transalt defaulted to 5,000 there. It is very much not that in the US here, so I'll set that to 18,000. We'll be using flaps 1 and looks like down 0.1 on the trim, and we'll be flexing to 58. Perfect. AP is almost available here. Alright, there's 95%. AP is available. Let's get the APU bleed on and disconnect the external power. And with that, I think we're just about ready to call a pushback here. So, I'll pretend that everyone's gotten on board the aircraft now. So, let's plan the push.
Show me where you want to go.
Let's see here. So, this is Taxiway Hotel here, I believe. The ground markings here in Salt Lake are virtually non-existent in the gateway scenery, but you know what, I'm just going to push onto the alleyway here, kind of. Let's just go off around here or so, and then take a left onto Hotel. It'll be a left here, going north for that 16 left runway.
Ground to cockpit.
Alright, let's get that in there. Get the beacon light on. Like so. And I'll close the cabin door as well here. Oh, I never opened it actually. Leave that closed there, and lock that. Alright, so we'll just wait for the tug to connect here. Alright, tug's ready to go, and so are we. So I'll release the parking brakes here. IRS also aligned just in time here. I hadn't noticed that it hadn't done that until now, but yeah, we're all good to go. I'll clear out the GPS primary notifications there, pull the flight plan up on the right McDo, and let's start engine number 2. Pull up the wing view here to listen to those sounds. Oh, we're about to drive right through a Beechcraft. That's awesome. Well, I'll just ignore that fact for a little bit. Thank you, AI traffic. Just listen to those sounds. Gorgeous. Alright. Pop up to the front here. We have a veil on engine 2. So let's start up 1. And I'll actually watch the numbers for this one, since we got to listen to those startup sounds. Alright, EGT is rising. Now comes then 1. And there's a veil. Switch that back to norm. Get the APU bleed off and the APU off. Parking brakes up.
Disconnecting tow, stand by.
Alright, while waiting for the tow to disconnect into its thing, let's do the flight control test. So, full back, full forward, left and right, left rudder and right rudder. Set down 0.1 on the pitch trim there. And flaps 1. Alright. Disconnect the pushback tug.
Tow is disconnected, bypass pin's been removed. Hand signal on the right, she's all yours, Captain.
Alright, we'll wait for that bypass pin to show before getting the taxi lights on and rolling out of here. There goes the tug. Might as well click on the taxi lights now. Wait for it. Alright, there's the pin. Release the parking brakes. Arm the ground spoilers. And let's roll on out of here. Alright, let's set the auto brake to max here. Give the cabin crew a ding. And do the takeoff config test. All normal, good to go. Alright, so we're just cruising along on hotel here, all the way up to the end. Probably joining on a little bit shortened at Hotel 12 instead of right at the end of the runway, but yeah. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to, since we're not really following that direct around and we don't have a departure, I'm just going to pull the heading here and set the runway heading. So, we have 164 for 16 left here. So I'll set that in there once it's 4. There we go. And I'll kind of do my best to just vector around. So looking at the mountain charts around, we should be good just taking a just a straight right turn around, and then just basically taking a 180 here over the lake and above, so that we're not hitting all those mountains on the off to our right there. But yeah, should be just a nice smooth departure out of that, even regardless of the missing departure. Alright, coming up on Hotel 12 here. I'll tap the brakes here, slow down a little bit, and take this right off here. I'll hold short here for just a brief moment to get things lit up and ready to go. Alright, so let's get the transponder to Terra, and weather radar on just for fun, even though it doesn't look like we have anything to worry about here. Although I am, actually, instead of doing that, just going to leave the terrain radar on here, just to be careful with those mountains. Alright, nose lights to take off there, landing lights on, runway turnoffs on, strobes on, and the wing light on as well. Let's line up here, roll out onto the runway. Alright, set Corona. There we go, let's blow it up to 50%. Let's go. 9 flex 58. Bit of right rudder in there to stay on the center line. $100 knots. V1 and rotate. Positive rate, steer coming up. And onto the flight directors. We'll just stay on that runway heading for a little while, and then give ourselves that right turn out. Shut up, marker beacon. Switch that off there. Sorry about that. Switch off the nose lights as well, since the gear is retracted. And there's lever climb. Pitch the nose down there, and thrust climb. And I'll grab the heading now, and spin that around. Just a 90-degree right turn to start with there. I'll crank the range out a little bit as well. Above the S-speed, let's retract the flaps. I'll disarm the ground spoilers too. Alright, and I'll give it one final swing around to just give us a nice 180 turn out there. Pretend that ATC gave that to us. Just pull up that pop-up PFD there, so I can fly a little bit with the wing view just for fun. The orthos through here are just beautiful. Never thought I'd say that about Utah, but any Utahns out there, please don't hurt me. Alright, there comes 344 on the heading. I'll straighten the wings out here. And we're over the, well, almost over the Salt Lake there. 10,000 feet. Let's get the landing lights off, wing lights off, and release the passengers. Pitch down here to accelerate to 302 knots. And we're very much clear of the mountains, so I'll get the terrain off there too. And while that's going, I can just swing us around to a nice intercept heading there on the to get back onto the flight path. Turn right here. I'll get the autopilot on since I'm not doing a very good job of maintaining that speed while talking. Above 10,000 we can also get the constraints off there too. I'll get up to about 40 mile range or so for now. Coming up fast on 15,000, I'm just going to set 310 for the cruise altitude here. Give that a push. There's the Great Salt Lake below us. And the mountains to our right. I'll go to managed heading there just to give us that intercept and then back onto the flight path. And about 160 miles or so on the range should do it. That top of climb's awfully close to the top of descent there, but we'll see how it goes. Oh well. Wait for 18,000 there to set standard pressure. And you know what? Looking at the real flight, they had 310 filed as the cruising altitude, but they ended up flying at 290. So, while we're climbing out here, what I'm going to do is... Yeah, we get it. We're already back on the flight path. I can clear out that warning. So what I'm going to do here is just set 290 on the altitude there. Push that. Then go back to the init page here and set 290 for the cruising altitude there. Just to give us a little bit more space between the top of climb and top of descent there. Alright. Hold on. Is that the... No, there's the top of climb. That's the top of descent. My apologies. I was looking at the wrong symbols. I'm not actually sure what that curved arrow is on the Airbus family. Regardless, though, the real flight used 290, and I'm just going to use that for fun, so... Ah, well. My apologies for that, but, yeah, there's 18,000. I'll set standard pressure, both sides, and the standby. And I'll leave progress up here on the report. About 120 miles or so off the top of descent. Alright, we're just going to, fly on out of here. I'll probably see you once we get closer to the, top of descent there. Actually, quite a bit bumpy over the mountains here on the departure, so I'm just going to keep the passengers locked up for now, switch the seatbelt signs on. Good God, we really are rocking now. Whew! Alright, we're 60 miles out from the top of descent here, so I'll clear out that enter destination data warning there. Wow, this bumpiness is going to be really fun to input this with, but let's pull up the perf page here. Head over to approach. Whew! Yeah, I don't see that seatbelt sign coming off for the rest of the flight. Wow. Alright, the altimeter here is going to be 3013 in Jackson Hole. 3013, there we go. Set that there. Temperature is going to be -9. Oh, wow. Mad wind is 140 at 4 knots. Nope. 140 at 4, please. There we go. And set that there. Turns out 180, that looks good. And the decision height, let's see. Actually never pulled up the chart on this, so I believe, yeah, ILS Zulu is what we were taking. It's just going to be a clean 200 on the ILS there. Alright, perfect. That took a lot of work to enter those simple numbers, but ugh, this bumpiness is crazy. Horrible turbulence up here. Wow. Well, just let that carry on its way then. Alright, we're getting close to the top of descent here. I'm going to first ascend to 11,000, which is our first restriction at ZBIV, which is that waypoint I was mentioning back at the start that didn't end up making it into the flight path, but the joys of outdated ARAT cycles. Oh well, we'll just use that regardless. So, get 11,000 dialed in there. And I'll scroll it back to about 20 miles or so to watch that. And I'll just start the descent once we get to probably about 5 to 10 miles away or so. I've flown the A319 for probably about 6 months now, and I've still never been able to figure out the sweet spot, so feel free to yell at me if you'd like, but I'll just get that kicked off then. 5 miles out here on the descent, so I'm just going to give that a push. And we'll be heading on down. Let's look at those mountains. Wow. Well, I never expected this for the flight, but things have actually settled out quite nicely here in terms of turbulence, once we've gotten below that, I suppose. Well, I've been having a look at the approach chart here, looking at the mountains. So all of these ranges down here are, it looks like the highest point for where we're flying over is going to be about 10,400 feet or so, in terms of safety for that. So we have 11,000 set here, and the VNav is going to be putting us right there at Delta November Whiskey at 11,000, and from there we should be able to take a left turn right through the mountains there, kind of through a valley, just quite nicely through that without hitting any mountains, hopefully, so we'll see how that goes. In fact, I believe, yeah, that's the airport right over there, Jackson Hole. So, Delta November Whiskey is straight overhead, or, well, straight forwards from us here. Then we'll be taking a left turn there through the mountains and landing on runway 19 from the north. Alright, we're coming up on 18,000 feet here, so I'm going to set the local altimeter, which is, well, it's still 3013 actually by the looks of it, which is what we had in Salt Lake. So we'll just release the standard on all three there, and that should still be 1020 on the standby. Yep, there we go. Alright. Well, I probably could have released the passengers there with that nice bit of calm air through the descent, but ah well. The airport elevation here is 6,000, so we're basically 10,000 feet above now, so there's no point in releasing that, but yeah. So we'll just have that seatbelt sign left on for just about the entire flight there. Alright, we're coming up on this left turn here from Lady to Delta November Whiskey there. And I think from this point on I'm just going to just leave the camera going without cutting. My commentary is probably going to be pretty dead and lackluster for the most part, because live talking is not my specialty, but I'll just leave it going for the nice views in on the approach, and try not to make a fool of myself. This is also going to be pretty interesting here because we're still almost pushing 300 knots from the approach here, since the airport's such a high elevation, we're above 10,000 feet here. It's not going to start decelerating down to 250 until right about Delta November Whiskey there, and then from there it'll be just that short stretch there before it starts decelerating onto the approach speed as well, so might have to get a little bit of speed brake in on this, but yeah, we'll see how that goes. I'll leave it about 20 miles. You know what, I'm just going to get the constraints on just for fun there. This looks like the turn-in here we'll be taking through this valley. And I'll set the next altitude there. I should have probably done that a little bit earlier, but oh well. So 8,000 feet there is the altitude at Yazdu, which is the final approach fix. There's 2,500 feet. This is really cutting it close. Yeah, the airport's at 6,300, so we still have about 4,000 to go. That's just the radio altimeter from the mountains here that we're passing over, but still a little nerve-wracking. I'm going to get about half speed brake out here to just really slow down to that 250, because this is going to be pretty tight in terms of speed. We need to be decelerating as best we can. Crank the range down to about 10 miles there. Get the landing scales on. There's 250 knots. Coming up on the decel point there. Almost through 10,000, come on. That VNAV is really putting us on a shallow descent here through this, but oh, we should be fine. Kind of getting towards the bottom end of that econ speed envelope. There comes that descent. There's through 10,000 to get the landing lights on, wing light on, seatbelt signs been on since departure. So once we land here, we'll be vacating towards the left from the runway. And since this is going to be a bit tight, I'm just going to look at the missed approach here. So it's going to be climbing to 6,900, then a right to 14,000. So once we get established on the approach and get that going, I'll set 14,000 on the altitude. I'm just going to go ahead and arm approach right off the bat here. I'm not going to take any chances. As soon as we get VREF minus 10 here, I'm going to get flaps 1 out. 220 knots. There's flaps 1 coming down. Should be just right around here almost. I'm going to leave us on flaps 2 as we get to the approach here. So, almost there. There's VRF minus 10 again, so I'll set flaps 2. Here comes the glide slope already. There's the runway. Alright, this is going to be really tight here. Get my feet on the pedals to get ready for this. I never set the auto brake. I am very stupid. Alright, this is a shorter runway here. I'm going to use auto brake medium. Yeah, I'm actually not sure of the length. I'm going to check this quickly. Yeah, 6,300 feet. That's probably enough for auto brake slow, but I'm not going to risk it. Might as well. Alright, there's the glide slope. Almost? Maybe? Oh, glide slope, come on. There we go. Glide slope star. Gears coming down. Flaps 3. Ding the cabin crew. Arm the ground spoilers. And I'll set 1-4000 on the missed approach. So we're coming in here. There's flaps 3, and I'll go flaps full from here. Once we get to about 1,000 feet, I'll disconnect the autopilot. First landing on camera, I'm going to do my best to not to make a fool of myself, but I can't make any promises. I have a really bad tendency of either floating it out the whole way or slamming it hard, so please don't judge me. I'm just here to have fun. Well, looking good on the landing checklist. Whoa! X-plane weather update, please don't do this to me. That wasn't as bad as it could have been, but still. Oh, get the runway turnoffs and the nose lights on as well. Almost missed that. Reset the view here. I'll cut the autopilot a little bit early, just to get going. Coming down nice and smooth here, hopefully. Little bit of a wind from the right there. Not too much, can overcorrect, but still have to be wary of that. Actually, a little bit right of the runway here. I'll try to roll that out here. Still solid on the glide slope. Gonna kill the flight directors now. Just go visual. Now I got a little bit left of the runway, trying to overcorrect on that. Just level it out around here, so. A little bit high on the glide slope. 3 whites. I'm good on the ILS there. A little bit off, it looks like, but. Yeah, that Pappy's feeling weird. 50. And ease into that flare. Hold it, hold it, hold it. Whew! A little bit stiff, but I'll take it. Reverses out. And 80 knots. That was brief. Auto brake medium's doing its job, I guess. Gonna kill it now there, we're not gonna make that turn off. Pull the taxi chart up now quickly. Yeah, I'll take Alpha 2, it looks like this one is on the left here down. Or no, that's actually all the way down to the end, this is Alpha 1 here. Ooh. Step on that. Brake just a little bit more to make that turn off. Here we go. Probably wasn't the most comfortable landing for the poor souls in the back, but oh well. Alright, we'll take a left around here. Take Alpha all the way up. According to FlightAware, our gate is going to be 6 here on the right. I'm gonna get the strobes off, wing light off, and the turn-offs and landing lights off. Nose back to taxi. Have to start up the APU quickly here. Get constraints off. Oops, and retract the spoilers and flaps. Alright, good. Looks like Jackson Airport here does indeed have gate markings on the ground, so don't have to worry about that. Have had instances, such as Salt Lake City there, where things weren't playing all too nicely, so. Is that 9 or 6? Okay, that was 9. Good. Thought I was missing that there. Alright, flap open. Start up the APU here. Get the landing scales off as well. And here's gate 6. Get down to about 10 knots or so for this turn in here. And here we go. Oh, stop the chrono. I always miss that. Alright, let's see how well I can do here without a ground marshaller. Just ease in, about 5 knots or so. And stop around there. Alright, I'll set the parking brake. AP is almost available here, I'll just give that a quick second more. Should have started that a little bit earlier. There we go. Alright, get the bleed on, and I'll shut down the engines. Get the nose light off, kill the beacon light, and release the passengers. Looks like the brakes are a little bit hot from that medium auto brake landing. I'll just get the brake fans on there. Well, that's about it. I'll unlock the cabin door here, and yeah, that's about it for this flight. So, hop outside here. Well, thank you very much for joining me on this little hop over the mountains there. Quite a turbulent flight, but very fun in the ToLiss A319. So, yeah, I think that's just about it for today. So, thank you very much for joining me. I hope to see you in the next one.